STEM and how much we need it. So give me just 1 second. I'm just going to share my other screen here. All right. So let me grab Chime. Apologies for the delay all. It will be worth it eventually when we get started. Okay, cool. Okay, so I have a topic. So I wanted to talk about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a field that relates to protecting the integrity, the availability of our systems. We have a lot of military folk here, and you understand the magnitude of protecting our systems from a national security perspective. And it won't take you long if you type in cybersecurity on Google to see what cybersecurity done wrong looks like. So my topic here is what is cybersecurity and how do I do it? So we'll cover quite a few things. This will not be a technical discussion, but there will be things that I'll talk about that's very specific to the field. And so I'm excited to talk to you all. And what I really like, when I'm done introducing myself, it'll be clearer, but I love to have conversations. So I love being interrupted. It's my favorite thing ever. I know I had Dania in my class. I don't know how many of you know her, but she was one of my favorites because she would always challenge and ask questions. So we call this conversational. Right. Yeah. Oh, she's on the call. Hello.
Hi,
hey,
Omar.
How's it going? I didn't even know you were on there. Awesome. Yeah. So Dania's here, so she could speak on that as well. So yeah, I had a funny little meme that I wanted to show here. And this is kind of how you feel when you're in information security. In your first year, you're Baby Yoda, and then you become me. So the gray hairs start to come a lot sooner. You can't see them in the camera, but there's a lot going on over there. So I will keep my head shifted this way sometimes. But now there are some, you get some battle scars from being in the field. So here's our agenda today. And Ashley, I'm sorry, we have 30 minutes. I just want to be clear so I can scale this properly. Or how long do I have? I'm so sorry.
Go for it.
Oh, okay, cool. So just you do like is it the Oscars, right? You just take the mic away from me. Mute
yeah,
me
when we say it's enough, like we'll just be like, okay, cut.
Okay, cut, done. Just completely. No warning at all, and I'll understand. Okay, so I'm gonna introduce who I am, how I got to where I am today in this field. What is cybersecurity? I'm going to talk about the different fields in cybersecurity, how you break into the field. And there's a big question that's common in security, which is around experience and certification and degrees. Within each of these, I'm going to talk a little bit about women in STEM and sort of how I view this and sort of give you my perspective of how important it is to have more women in the field. So again, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak with you all on this topic. So who am I? There's this big thing is you say, who am I? And then I give you my name, right? So of course you're not your name, but that's part of who you are, right? So it's a very small part of who you are, but there's a lot more to it than that, right? So my name is Omar. I work for Amazon Web Services. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the technology, Amazon Web Services is, it's a child company of Amazon that essentially sells consumable cloud services. And this could be cloud services at scale. So when you think of something like AWS, you talk about what are enterprises doing to innovate and how do they differentiate themselves? AWS helps sell services to customers to help them differentiate. So an example that's very common would be like selling compute. So very, very powerful servers that companies can run on so that they don't have to manage these powerful servers themselves. And then there are a whole host of other things you can do on this cloud platform. So when you hear the term cloud, AWS is the #1 cloud service provider. And you've probably heard of something like Microsoft's cloud, which is called Azure, and Google also has a cloud. There are a couple other smaller players as well, but this is sort of the idea around cloud services. So when you connect to Netflix, you may not know this, but Netflix is actually hosted on AWS. So you actually connect to Amazon Web Services, and then the awesome Netflix screen comes up, and then you can pick your shows. Same thing when you book a Lyft and an Uber ride. Those are both hosted on, Lyft is hosted on AWS as well. Airbnb is another one that has resources hosted on AWS. And so essentially, that's an aspect of cybersecurity. We call that cloud. And cloud is becoming more and more popular. I specifically help, I'm seeing more people come on video, so that's awesome. I specifically help customers in the automotive space. I used to work at Ford, and I was also a career change. So just a really quick insight on that. I actually wanted to get a PhD in neuropsychology, which is in neuroscience, actually, which is sort of like a combination of biology and, the cognitive neuroscience field. And I tell this story, and Dana, I told you this one as well, so this will be a repeat. But I remember like prepping for this research lab, and this research lab was like super competitive, and they had a ton of people applying. And I came in for the interview, and I had like studied like the brain. Like I was like studying how the brain works and made sure I knew all of, the gyri in the brain, and really thinking about what's this little fold do. I remembered everything, and I was ready to go, and I sat down. And the first question that he asked me was, what is a Linux operating system? Do you know anything about it? And I literally looked around, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I thought this was a neuroscience lab. He's like, no, you're in the right place. Like, this is correct. And I was like, oh, okay. No, I've never even heard of it. So basically, Linux is just like Windows. It's an operating system that they use a lot of times with MRI machines. So he was asking me like, what's my knowledge of computing? And so as I started learning that technology, I actually became more interested in that. And I think that's kind of my theme, which is like, you never know where you're going to find your passion, but really like when you do find it, your passion will drive you. It's really hard to force things. Like when you start to think about what type of decisions you want to make, and I try to tell this to my students, you really want to think about like what drives you forward and like what gives you that purpose. And purpose is huge when you're trying to get motivated. Purpose is important, really, really important. I'm an instructor. That's how Dania met me. I teach at a program called the University of Michigan Digital Nexus Program for cybersecurity, and a place called Global Information Technology, where we train veterans and other folks to get up to speed with certifications and things like that. I have some hobbies if you're interested in any of those on the slide. I'm not going to read all of those off. So if you want to ask me on the Q&A what position I play, I would love to talk about it. So you can pick your poison on any questions that you'd like to ask. So, and like I said, interrupt me at any time. Before I tell you about what security is, I do want to take a moment to talk about the need for cybersecurity. So I'm going to go back one slide really quick. So like I said, I work at AWS, and AWS is, they're some of the greatest colleagues I've worked with, had the opportunity to work with. And I have many female colleagues that make a huge difference in the space and are really, really ambassadors of the cybersecurity field. So there's a woman named Merritt Bear, and she's fantastic if you look her up on LinkedIn. She really is an ambassador for technology. And so I'll give you a statistic from my personal life. So I have about 15 people on my team, and only 2 of them are women. And it's no reason other than, we are trying our best, but there aren't enough women in the field. There just aren't. I've told Dania that. I see some questions, I think, in the chat. Okay, cool. So I'm really, if you're interested in technology, we need more diversity, and I want more colleagues like you. So if you have any questions, please add me on LinkedIn that go beyond the scope of the slides that I'm going to present to you today. But if you're not interested in technology, you can take this as kind of a general theme in whatever field you're in. But the diversity really does drive innovation. So we've become more innovative because we get different perspectives, and I think that's amazing. So culturally, from a gender perspective, those things will change the way the team dynamic operates, and it leads to more innovation. And so I'm begging for more colleagues in the cybersecurity space, and there are many challenges. It is a male-dominated field. There's no question about it, but we can change that together. Okay, so really quickly, and this will be the most technical slide that you'll see, but security is designed to protect valuable assets. So think about your favorite thing in the world. Maybe I asked this to some of my classes, and something I find that's really funny is sometimes when I ask this question, like, what's your most valuable asset? I have sometimes a couple of times I've had parents say like their cell phone, and I'm like, like not your kids. Kids are number 2. The cell phone is number 1. But you got to think of, if you think about your most valuable asset, you want to protect it. And inherently, even if you know nothing about cybersecurity, you've probably thought about these things naturally, right? You don't want people to get access to things that you want to keep secret, right? So this concept of confidentiality. So all of security is really based on this triad. We call this the CIA triad. And so you always want to be able to access the things that you want to access. So that's availability. You want to be able to only allow certain people to see your messages, only those people that you authorize to see your messages to be able to see them. And you don't want people to modify your data. So in order to sustain a security model, you need to have all of these working together. You have to have confidentiality of data and systems, integrity of data and systems, and then availability of data and systems. So is there anyone who is in technology or has seen this before, or just to kind of understand my audience a little bit better and give people a chance to speak up? Lori, awesome, cool. So we have Lori. You can all, okay, Shiva as well. Carol, you're more into biology. Cool. Yeah, biology is really cool too. And you'll see some cool parallels, Carol, in biology with technology as well. So a lot of companies that are doing massive amounts of research and doing analytics on their clinical trials and things like that will utilize things like the cloud to help give more meaningful results to their clinical trials, which lead to amazing things from a healthcare and life sciences perspective. So very cool, awesome. Jose, you're also interested. So yeah, anyone who's interested, please speak up and interrupt me if you have any questions. Thank you for the participation. So this is a terrible slide, but I had to do it because it's informational. I will not read the slide to you, I promise. We don't actually use PowerPoints all that much at AWS. We do what's called narrative reads. So we like write a page and then we read out the page together. So we don't do that well with PowerPoints. And you can type that in on Google, just type in AWS and PowerPoints and you'll see sort of how we operate in that way. But I wanted to give you some information about, for those of you that are interested, this is very much if you're interested in the field, or maybe you're interested and you're not sure. There's a lot of different fields in security that I wanted to kind of illustrate, and in technology in general. Architecture is a very common thing. You have software development. And then in the security field, I wanted to show you how specialized you could be in security. So, but you have to crawl before you can walk or run. So when you're first getting into the field, you want to just get a very general, broad understanding of security. Like somebody like Dania, who's taken some of my more advanced courses, she understands this really well, that you really have to start out by understanding some of the fundamentals before you elevate the conversation to some of these more advanced fields, right? One thing I'll say about technology in general that I wanted to give to the class is that it pays really, really well. So this is a field where you could get a degree in information technology, information systems, management information systems, whatever your, or software engineering, software development, whatever your school calls that particular program or certification program or whatever it may be, will lead you into, these are 3 or 4 year degrees that lead you into very, very high and lucrative salaries. And the reason is because we call it like, it's almost like this idea that security is just becoming ubiquitous across all of our workflows in our lives. Like Carol mentioned, she liked biology. There's a lot of, if you think about like genetics, right, as an example, Carol, just to kind of throw it back to biology, there's a lot of, and I believe that was Carol. So sorry, Carol. Oh, yes, it was. Okay. If you think about biology, you have things like genetic data, right? And so that's very, very personal, right? As personal as it can get. Like, who am I as a human, right? I have data, genetic material in my body. And so so there are use cases where we need to take that data and analyze it so we can create, remediations and really push life sciences forward with medications and things like that. And so how do you protect that data, right? So that's a really big question in the field of genetics. So the field of security really goes across every single industry, right? You're not just going to talk about, well, if I get a field job in security, I'll work with Omar at AWS. Well, you could also work for Pfizer and Moderna, and you could also work for Ford or General Motors, and you could also work for Johnson and Johnson, or you could work for Kroger, you could work for Walmart. And all of these companies need security, right? Yeah. Kathy said, I'm interested in GIS. What does GIS mean? I'm sorry. Oh, wow. Okay. Geographical information systems. Okay. Yeah. So it really depends on the use case. So what GIS is really trying to accomplish. Do you want to expand a bit more? Is it Kathy? Is it? Okay. I think you're muted, Kathy. Unless you just want to type. That's also okay. Go ahead.
Okay, no, that's right.
Sure. Yes. Let's get some other voices.
I've been in sessions all day and I'm not a speaker, so I just am muted all the
Sure.
time.
Sure. No worries.
Sorry, I did that because my husband came in for a second. And
Oh, no worries. Yeah.
He actually works in some facets of something or other, but I guess I can't really talk about it.
Sure. No, I get that.
Okay, so anyway, geographical information systems, I would like to study it, but I can't tell you a ton about it because I haven't studied it. But
Sure.
generally is for topographic, like mapping and
Oh, yeah.
and they have storyboards and things like that. It's kind of used a lot for environmental stuff.
Okay.
Demographics and so forth.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I can't give you a lot of details because I don't know that much.
Yeah. So we probably
it's interesting.
Yeah. So I would take two angles there. You probably want to protect that data from getting leaked to people that shouldn't have access to that data, so that we could maintain the integrity of that data flow. Like when you're actually mapping out, like you said, demographics is a really good example of that. So when you're trying to understand like what the demographic constructs are in a certain area, you don't want other people to maybe get that information and use it for something bad. So there's always something in terms of confidentiality or integrity. So if you think about the good thing, so typically as a security specialist, we think about what bad things can come out of that, right? And what's the worst case scenario if somebody gets that data? And that will change things. Like Kathy, you bring up a really good point. That'll change what your reaction to that thing is, right? So for example, if I give you like a penny and then you look at the penny and I say like, protect it, you're going to probably be like, well, I don't really care. So I'm just going to put it over here. I'll turn my head. And if it's gone, right? But if I give you like an envelope, like if you take your life savings, you're not going to put that on a table, right? You're going to protect it. You're going to be looking around. Yeah. So what happens? I could
give you an example. Recently, I participated on a little bit of a feedback board that I was invited on a voluntary basis. But I was invited to do feedback on planning, and landscape architecture was asking for some outside, feedback. So
cool.
A few of us, and then, after I watched their whole presentation and proposals and this and that and the other, I finally said, well, where do you stand on fire safety and security? But see, if I had more knowledge about the GIS and the security aspects of it like that would have been very helpful. But they, of course, I took her by surprise because she hadn't even thought about it. And she admitted that she hadn't thought about it. I don't know that I would have been that open.
Yeah. So one thing to Kathy's point, like, so we need more people in the field, right? So that way we don't have situations where we have like a complete lack of visibility on things like that. And it looks like Alexander is giving a good example of weather career. Weather is a good one. So let's say, so for example, and I'm sorry, I don't know what the K stands for. So, but it looks like Alexander Struna. And then Sarai also has another use case. So let me take Alexander Struna's first. So in the weather field, right? So what we want accuracy, correct? So if you have an adversary or an unauthorized user that may take that data and manipulate it and then give it back to you, it will give you inaccuracies in your readings in terms of the weather, right? So that's bad. So you could see where integrity really matters. Like if you think about like self-driving cars, what happens if the vehicle is giving incorrect data, right? Or servers are giving incorrect data to the car? You're going to affect the decisions that the car will make. And so these are major security vulnerabilities that we have to address, and really like social problems that we have to talk about. And so keep that in mind. And if you have any questions, please. And Sarai says, Kathy, I just finished the course at APU in regards to GIS. It's probably one of the most universal applications of data that can be used in any field. Very cool. It's a great introductory course that taught me a lot about the software and applications of GIS. Yeah, I'm going to go back and do some research. Admittedly, I don't know much about it either, like Kathy said, but Sarai, thank you for that introduction into what sort of fields it's applicable to. And if you have more questions about this, my name is Omar. You see my name is, how my spelling. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn if you're curious about taking a little bit deeper. So I do have a few more slides, and then we'll finish for Q&A. This is another kind of a little bit funnier little meme slide that I put on here. And so they say that we're looking for a junior developer with the experience of a senior developer for the salary of an intern. So this is a problem in our field. So we'll say something like, hey, we're looking for a junior position that needs like 30 years of experience and 12,000 certifications, and we'll pay you $12 an hour. So that does happen. It's actually kind of rare in cybersecurity. So security will typically, the field is moving to the notion that it's a high-paying field. It really, really is quite lucrative. But when you're first starting out, it's very overwhelming because you don't have any experience, and it's kind of hard to get your first job in the field of technology. So the rest of my discussion here is going to be focused around what you can do and what I think about those things. And I'll talk a bit about what happens in the field of technology that can help drive you towards being able to be employed, and the other areas that you can do, not just like finding a job at a company, but just building in general. So the real question becomes, is it experience, certs, or degrees? And so, yeah, definitely. And Kathy, that's a huge challenge. I do want to just take a second. So Kathy said she feels that because she graduated just before the pandemic. So you came into a whole new world, Kathy, that it does not quite look the same. Yeah, volunteer is one great example, Kathy. So I'll give you a second there to expand on that. So the question really is like experience, certs, or degrees. And I'm just being very, a little bit facetious about the fact that I'm only talking about 3 things, and there are more, and there's one that's maybe the most important. So a lot of students ask me, like, do I get a degree, do I get experience, or do I get certified? And the cheap answer is all of them. But I'll be more specific about this. Again, the number one goal that you have to try your best to realize as you're going through our field, in the field of technology, is what are you passionate about, or any other field. Once you can discover what you're passionate about, it makes your life a lot easier in terms of finding out which areas that you want to go into, because that will build what's a roadmap for you. So really what you're trying to do is tell your own story. And whether you're applying to a corporate job, you're telling a story. That's the whole purpose of your passion, right? Your passion leads to a story. And so that story may involve experience, it may involve just certs, or it may involve degrees, but the story should make sense to you, and it should make sense to whatever your goals are. So if your goal is to work for Amazon or Google or Facebook or whatever, that you have to have a story. You have to tell your story, right? As the need for, like I said, women in our field gets more and more dire. So we really are looking for more women in STEM. That puts you in a position where when you do enter those fields, just know that you are coveted in terms of creating more diversity in the workplace. And so this is something that I can't stress enough. These fields like technology are very much, like I said, we're encouraged and we want those things to change. So we need ambassadors like yourselves to come in and shake things up and change things and innovate for us. So because we can't do it, like things, it's been business as usual. And as we're seeing it expand more and more, I'm getting a chance to see more women enter the field. So there are a number of things that you can do and resources that I can provide you. If you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by where do I start, what kind of experience do I need, please reach out to me and we can have a conversation on LinkedIn and I can provide you some resources. But at a very high level, the most important thing is your passion. And then the second most important thing I'd say is your networking ability. So to bother people like me. So Ashley has done something really great. So she brought somebody in that works in the largest cloud service provider in the world. So if you're interested in technology and cloud, Well, now you know somebody who's in technology and cloud, right? Because Ashley has created that connection for you. So it's your job to reach out to me right now, because I'm not gonna, you have your own choices, and I'm not gonna go in and bother you. Like I want to provide a service to you. So I want you to reach out to me if you're interested in learning more. And then you just built a connection, right? So, and in the future, I'd love to work with a number of you as a colleague, or in the same field if you're interested in technology. So, and in other fields too, having conversations with biologists about cybersecurity, that's an important thing as well. So I appreciate Ashley bringing me on and Dania reaching out so we could build those connections. So I would definitely say degrees are helpful. So you have to think about what you want to become, and then you have to map that to what type of network you want to build, the degree that you want to get, the certifications that align with your goals, and then what experiences that you think are adequate for your life and what's going on in your life. So if I say I want to be a security professional in the cloud, it doesn't make a ton of sense for me to turn around and start taking a bunch of software development classes, right? So they may help, but if I'm saying I want to do cybersecurity in the cloud, there are bigger priorities there, right? And something a little bit more ridiculous if I say like, okay, I want to do security in the cloud, and then I start going into areas like strictly blockchain, right? That's not going to help you in security. That will help you for something like blockchain and cryptocurrency. So what is your passion? What do you think you like? And then as you explore it, it's going to change every year. And then you'll find out what you like eventually. I think I have one more slide, or this may be the last one. Yes, that is the last one. Okay. So in summary, I told you a little bit about who I am, and then we talked about different fields in cybersecurity and the importance of women in STEM. And then we talked a little bit about what the priorities are when you're trying to get into the field of technology, from a security perspective and from just a general technology perspective. And we talked about GIS, which was really cool. So that was awesome contribution. We got to outdo some stuff like that. And then we sort of ended off on that piece. So I think we have a little bit of time left. So we have quite a bit of time, actually. So I'd love to do some Q&A, and I can do anything else you'd like. I kept it kind of short, Ashley. I wasn't sure if you had anything else that you wanted to, but I absolutely could have additional material or talk a little bit more about cloud if anybody's interested. So we could direct it any way that we want.
If there's anybody who's got questions, go ahead. And
Omar.
Once everything up, there's Dania.
Yep. Hi, Omar. I do have a question for you.
Sure.
I do know someone on this call that's interested in AWS and probably want to know what he needs to do to get into the field. Particular, Jose, do you have any questions? I know he's on.
Thank you. And thank you all for just allowing me to be present, and Omar, taking time to speak with us. New connection on LinkedIn. I work with Ms. Shirley, but I have a background in cybersecurity and a few AWS certifications, and I've supported the government in the cloud. But I'll just connect with you on LinkedIn, but thank you all for allowing me to be here.
No problem, Jose. Yeah, please do, Jose. And like I said, if you do have anything that you feel about the field, or things that challenges or anything, yeah, you could take it offline if you want, or you could ask me in this forum. But definitely, Jose.
Okay, Omar, if there's any methods of contact that you want to input into the chat, that way, if somebody wants to reach out to you, that way at least they can have a direct link that'll help them.
That's a great point. So let me, I'm going to, what I'll probably do, Ashley, should I share with you my LinkedIn, and then you can cascade it to them, or should we just put that in the chat?
It's entirely up to you.
Okay, cool.
Whatever you choose, I can send it out.
We'll do both. We'll do both. Okay. So if you want to, let me pull up my LinkedIn, and then I'll share again here. But let me just pull up my LinkedIn, and then I'll share my link. I think LinkedIn is the best. And then if we have additional questions, I have many times done engagements externally, just like Dania reached out so nicely and connected with you, Ashley, and then I came here. So I really appreciate those types of opportunities, and I have no issue diving deeper with those that want to learn more about technology. Hey, Jose, I saw your request. Yeah, go ahead.
Omar, I'll just add in to everybody that's listening. If you are a veteran and interested in joining the IT field, there are vet courses available for free. So that's how I met Omar. It's called Vet Tech. You just apply, and he can go over all the courses that he's teaching or taught in the past. And yeah, you literally don't have to pay a penny out of pocket. Actually, they'll pay you BAH for going to school. The classes are in the evenings. So after you leave work, you have some time to get some education and join the IT field. So
yeah, I think, Dana, that's a great idea. I'll add the and maybe I can talk a little bit about the teaching aspect as well. Thank you, Dana. Let me post. This is the program that I teach. One of the programs I teach at, and that's sort of like similar to what Dania was saying. This is really where you can get a taste of technology from instructors that are quite passionate and can really explain to you sort of what the basics are and go a lot deeper into what areas that you might be interested in, and of course encouraging you to kind of explore different areas and looking at it like when you're in technology, like Jose, you said you were interested in it. Again, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to build something? Then you'll have a path, right? And I would take help students to go on that path. If you want to work for the corporate world, that's one path, right? So you have many options. I think the biggest thing in general, and I'm very a big proponent of this, is the reason I love doing this is because a lot of people just don't know, and it's not that easy to get the information. So that's why networking is so important. So when I face a new challenge, like as you face harder challenges, like especially in my career where I'm working, at AWS, where I'm dealing with some big customers, and I don't know how things work until I experience them. Either I have to experience them and fall on my face, which we've all had to experience, right? So then you have that pain, and then you have to say, oh my gosh, I learned how this works now, but I had to go through all of this pain and negative stuff that happened. Or you could ask somebody that does know, right? And so that luckily there are enough people who give back, because I was exactly, those of you who are interested in technology or are new in a field, I was new in a field many times. And you just need somebody that can and is willing to help and give you that information. So whether that's like what courses you take, or what areas of cybersecurity exist, or what the job prospects are, what are the hottest fields the hottest fields within cybersecurity, those things are really important because it helps build your story. It gives you the information you need to tell me, okay, based on what you said, Omar, these are my goals. And Global IT, I just posted in the chat, is a really great way to kind of explore technology, like Dania said, with really no cost to you. So it is a fantastic thing to do.
There's a question in the chat for you from Alexander, Omar.
Okay, sure. It says, I had a few friends that were let go, and most of them recommending that I focus on internships for experience. I know you just mentioned the telling a story and having a passion. However, it seems that networking and building connections is also, if not even more important. Yeah. What are your thoughts on having an over-specialized network experience, cert, history, and story? More specifically, if you aren't able to find any offers to positions that are in line with your passion, yet you still need a job and it doesn't work towards that story. Wow. Yeah. Awesome question. So let's address each component of it. The first thing you said is, what are my thoughts on having an over-specialized network experience, cert, history, and story? So, and I'll probably ask you, if possible, to expand a little bit on that if I don't answer that first part to your liking. But what I would say about that is, again, it depends on what you want to do. So if I'm interviewing you and you come in and you're way over the top in your experiences, I'll ask you why you're applying for the position. So if you can give me a reason for that, that's sensible, and that kind of fits, like you said, with kind of the latter part of your question, I think that's okay. One piece of advice I have is be very, very strategic about your resume. This is one of the strengths that I have because I've practiced it like crazy. And what I did was I'm very, very precise about when I apply for a position that I'm literally catering my resume, Alexander, to the, and I'm sorry if you want to put your name in, I'm so sorry. I know that's your middle name, but I'm very strategic about when I apply for a position to really cater that to the position that I'm applying for. So it creates this concept where I'm not actually over specialized. Oh, it is. So sorry. Okay, cool, Alexander. And it's a really, really good question. I think there are going to be situations where you're essentially asking that you're going to be your niche, you have a very niche, a load of niche connections, and you need to understand, well, how do I generalize those things more? So what I would recommend is to take your experiences, your history, and your story, and cater it to what your next goal is. So even when I was a career change, when I was interviewing for Ford, I don't know if this helps as an example, Alexander, but I actually used that story about Linux, and I talked about how I used Linux in my field when I was doing neuroscience research. So I had no experience. I had one certification or one or two certifications, like 10 months of experience, but it's the passion that came out because I was relating one of my fields to another field. So obviously, if you're not a career change, you can't do that, but there's always a way to describe your life experiences in a way that's going to fit with your current goals in life, even if you're over specialized in that scenario. So I know that's the first question. I'm sorry. I know that was Dania knows that's a 3-minute answer for a 1-line question. So the second part of your question, which I'll definitely try to scope down a little bit, is you asked me about very common. I get this question actually a decent amount, and it's a really good point. And you said, you know, this idea of you have a passion, but you can't meet your passion yet. So I would really go about this in 3 ways. This definitely happened to me many times. So I knew I kind of fell in love with cloud computing, like around when I was at Ford for like a year, but I was working on vehicle security. And so I had to work on vehicle security, even though I really love the cloud. So I'll take 2 angles here, and it's going to be a little bit motivational. I'm not trying to be a motivational speaker, but this really is 100% true. So I'm genuine about my experiences, and this is a true story and a true way that things worked out. So I was just doing my best in the vehicle security space, and I'm talking like vehicle, like I was really like looking at like electronics on the car. And I really am someone who likes software a lot more. So I like being able to kind of deploy things instead of having to like work in an area like vehicles. So what I kept doing is constantly asking, anytime I saw an opportunity or an opening, I let people know what my goals were in a respectful way. So I would come up, so let's say, Ashley would be like my senior. I'd say, hey, I'd introduce myself appropriately and say, hey, Ashley, look, I know you're head of the cloud security team. If you see any opportunities, I'm really, really interested in it. And I'm really working towards AWS as my cloud provider, or Azure as it doesn't matter, right? Azure, GCP. This is an area that I'm interested in. And then Ashley knows, okay, he said it one time, that's fine. And then there's another opportunity that may come up and somebody that may know Ashley, and then I'll tell that person. And eventually what happens is you will find an opportunity with enough diligence of aligning what your goals are. And then what I'll say is I got hired at AWS. So one of my dreams was to do cloud computing. So one of the dreams I had in the short term was to work for a company of the magnitude like AWS. And what actually helped me get the job was my vehicle security experience. So imagine that. Like, had I not done that, I may not have gotten to my ultimate goal. So the thing that I wasn't as passionate about actually led me to the place that I was the most passionate about. So it's crazy how that works out. And I don't know, Alexander, if that helps as that example, but I would say diligence, just work as hard as you can at the thing that you don't like and still do a good job. And like I said, network as much as you can and let people know what it is that you really do want to do. Okay, eventually you'll get there. And the only thing you can do is try your best, right? And do exactly what you can do with what you have and network with people like me, but in the area that you're interested in. Anytime, Alexander. Thank you so much for your comment.
Thank you.
Any other? Oh, God.
I'll say, do we have any other questions for Omar?
I don't really have a question, but I want to say that I found it interesting when you said work hard, even in the thing that you like the least about what you're doing, of something that brings to mind my mother. She had a home economics degree, but she ended up being a non-appropriated funds financial management officer, 37 years in civil service. And it does take a brain to do that. And she grew up in a time when doing home economics was the thing to do. I hate to admit that, but that's especially in this company, but it's true, back then, that's the way it was. But she said her advice was find something that nobody else wants to do and you will always have a job. So I'm not sure that everybody wanted to crunch the numbers that she had to crunch and non-appropriated funds, but she
always had a job. Yeah, exactly.
So I just found that interesting that you mentioned that do well, even in something you really don't like necessarily, or the least. Get really good at it, and that may be your avenue into what you want to do.
Yeah. 100% agree with that, Kathy. And thank you for sharing that. That's also very true. And I align well with that. And it's sometimes life is just not as straight. It's not a linear thing, right? So, you think you're going to graduate, get a job and then it's like, what ends up happening is it's more like a curvy road, right? That takes you in detours. But I think that's the beauty of it at the same time too. So, just make sure you're happy. That's another thing. So, especially when you are trying to break into some of these fields where, I talk to my colleagues a lot, like my female colleagues, and it's like there's 14, there's only 2 women on the team. And it's like, I always try to, and I think the big thing is, I never allow that. What we do is I try to take away my unconscious bias and never allow it to affect me, whether I'm, being too, helpful just because I know they're the minority on the team. But at the same time, it's like utilizing, and building those types of relationships so I can get diverse perspectives. It's something that I just appreciate so much. So, I just want to mention that because you are going to face a lot of challenges, and especially going into fields that are driven, if you are going into a field like STEM, where just traditionally a field where we're seeing a growing more and more women, which is amazing. And people like Ashley and Dania are helping drive that initiative. So again, I can't thank you enough. And I honestly, I would love to have a woman come in on behalf of AWS and do this as well. So I'll follow up with you and Dania, Ashley.
Absolutely. We really appreciate you, being here, and we really hope that we're able to, get you back on for next year, because I'm not a tech person by any means. And I was fascinated by everything. It really opened my eyes to see kind of there's so much more than what I originally, I always think just technology, okay, computers, motherboards, all those other weird parts within it, and just making the things, function and work. I'm, thinking about how the whole cloud system works and how, the amount of security and what you guys have to go put into it to, handle all this stuff for us. I honestly, it never even crossed my mind before this.
That's awesome. I don't know, Ashley. You're pretty sound pretty techy too, though. But I do appreciate that. So you have an extra appreciation. I feel like with, I don't even know if I knew what a motherboard was 6 years ago when I first changed fields. So you're way ahead of where I was when I first changed careers. Maybe it's longer now. I'm aging myself 8 years maybe. But anyway, no, thank you so much. Yeah, Ashley, I do appreciate it, and I think that insight is important. And for those of you that aren't in there, I know Carol said she's really interested in biology. I hope it was helpful just to kind of be part of the conversation. And I hope I didn't, my presentation wasn't pushing you out of that, because I think this is an important conversation from a general perspective, just to learn about different fields that you may not be aware of how they work, like Ashley said.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we really appreciate you taking the time. Now with that, yay, there's Dania. We are gonna do just a quick meet and greet over for the the WSTEM and AWIS just for our general chapter meeting for anybody who wishes to stay on. I will kind of hint at the fact that those who do stay on, you could be getting some free swag at the end of this for, you know, as our way of saying thank you for hanging out with us tonight. So with that, since Dania is here, I am going to go ahead and put up our slides real quick so we can kind of go over this. Let's see if I can
While
figure
you're
this out.
doing that, I just want to say thank you so much, Omar, for doing this. Really appreciate it. Did you-
Anytime, Dania, for you, anytime.
Thanks.
Call me
We're,
back
we're,
again.
we're going to hold you to that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
He knows.
definitely.
I hope
All right.
everybody's doing well. All right. So good night, everyone. Welcome to our meet and greet portion this evening. We'll just jump right on into introducing our officers. Ashley is our secretary for both AWIS and WSTEM. I am Dania, the president for WSTEM and VP for AWIS. Sarai Brown is our president for AWIS and VP for WSTEM. And then we have Jolanda, who is our communications person for AWIS and WSTEM. Just a little bit about everybody. Ashley is pursuing her bachelor's, right, in science.
Yep, natural science and biology.
Yep, she is dived in and she has
Literally.
creatures growing and she loves to dive with sharks, right,
Yep.
Ashley? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep, I am currently pursuing my master's in cybersecurity. So great topic tonight, Omar. Thank you. And Sarai is also in school with pursuing her bachelor's in science as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting this right. And then Jolanda is also in school pursuing her associates. She is also active duty in the Navy. Yep. All right, moving on. We are faculty advisors that hold this. They are our glue to the organization, or organizations, I should say. Dr. Carter, Dr. Drexler, and Dr. Hand. Dr. Drexler and Dr. Hand are online. Do you mind saying a few words, ma'am? Dr. Drexler?
Hi, I am here. I
Okay.
have some vegetables for dinner. Thank you for speaking, Omar. That was fantastic, and thanks to all the officers who are on. We earlier today we did a leadership conference. We were in a panel discussion at the Leadership Institute conference just a few hours ago. So it's a AWIS and WSTEM day for sure, but it's a lot of fun. And thanks to all the members and soon to be members that are on the meeting today. It's great to meet you.
Thanks, Dr. Drexler. Dr. Hand, would you like to say a few words, ma'am?
Well, hello. My apologies. I was logged in on my phone and computer and had some feedback there. I'll just say welcome to everyone. And I'm one of the faculty advisors, and I'm also faculty in the information technology program. And I've been with information technology, computer technology, pretty much all the IT type programs. And I've been with APUS a very long time. I started in 2003. So I'm very familiar with a lot of the university, the STEM school, and particularly the IT areas. So if you ever have any questions or need assistance or pointing in the right direction, please feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you, Dr. Hand. All right, so moving on, we have two of our honorary advisors, Alexa and Lori. And basically they've just been, they've been prior officers prior to the members now. And they stayed on just to continue assisting us with our organization. So that's really cool. All right, moving on. Just a little background on WSTEM. I'm sure everyone's tracking, but this is a gender inclusive organization for both WSTEM and AWIS. We do have programs that we do outreach for with the children. For example, this year we had the opportunity to be a mentor for children in the 5th grade with Dr. Drexler, who was leading the charge on this one. We were able to do judge their science fairs, the science fair, and even present them with gifts at the end as a token of how we loved and love their what they've been doing. So amazing opportunities. Also, WSTEM provides an open forum for students to promote the female presence in the STEM field. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to push it forward.
Huh?
I didn't mean to switch slides.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Oh, you changed it. I just recognized. I'm still good. You're good.
Okay.
And also, just like we did this afternoon or this evening, we network and bring in volunteer speakers to teach you more about what WSTEM entails. So next slide, please. All right. And who can join? As I mentioned before, anyone. You don't have to be a part of the university. So please, we ask that you share this information, the organizations, and help us grow as a community. All right. Sarai, you want to go into AWIS?
I'm not sure if she's back. I know she had to take a quick break.
That's fine. I'll just continue. All right. So AWIS, Association for Women in Science. Yeah, just to give you a basic background, it's similar to this WSTEM, but we spark innovation, promote organizational success, and drive systemic change. Next slide, please. All right. And member benefits. AWIS works at a nexus of STEM and gender to provide high quality policy solutions. We'll also, I think we just did the, Ashley, you just pushed out the information for the opportunity to get an award, right?
Yes, and I'll be talking about it tonight as well.
Right. Okay, so I'll let you, I won't mess up your spiel, but yes, we do things like that as well, to try and help members in the field to do better and excel. So AWIS provides research and analysis in the STEM enterprise, which we're all familiar with. And then we are an organization of 15,000 professionals in the STEM nationwide. So pretty large group.
Yep. All right, I'll take over, Danielle. I'll give you a break. I know you're probably tired from driving.
I know, I'm exhausted, but thank you.
All right, so just a little bit more about what WSTEM and AWIS does. So obviously, as I said at the very beginning, our main mission is promoting women in STEM through encouragement, support, and mentoring, as well as the goal of AWIS is to achieve equity and full participation of women in science, technology, and engineering. Obviously, we have to work a little harder to kind of, as Omar was talking about, trying to get more females within these career fields that are typically male dominated. And so that definitely is kind of our main goal, is providing the encouragement and support to help fellow women, to help the young girls discover that, hey, there are opportunities available within these career fields that weren't typically thought of as being a career field for a woman. AWIS also, the AWIS affiliates extend the reach and effectiveness of our collective advocacy efforts on behalf of women in STEM. So with AWIS itself, we are a part of the national organization as well, but we also reach out to some of the local chapters of AWIS where we can do collaborations with them as far as meetings go. So it does help us network even more. And then, by joining an affiliate, members, have the opportunities to advance their careers through information sharing, outreach, and professional networking in both, the formal and informal settings. So once you're a member of AWIS, not only do you get to you're invited to all of our meetings, but as a member of the National AWIS organization, you get all their mailings and all of their invitations to all their different speaking engagements that they have. And they have tons and they cover so many different topics. And it really is absolutely amazing. So as an organization, one thing that is very important to us, and it's helps us earn our funds so that we can, spend money on things for our members. And how we do this is by earning points. And the more points we earn in a year helps to increase the budget for the following year. There are quite a few tiers. I believe it's like platinum, gold, silver, and bronze, where platinum is the highest. And as we have been blowing up social media and everything, both of our organizations have reached platinum. We reached platinum earlier than we thought. So we are very excited to be one of the few organizations that can claim platinum for their chapter standings for 2021. Yay. And what's also really important is we really rely on our members to help us decide how we should spend this budget. So do our members want to do conferences? Do we need to purchase, are we looking at research equipment to do a project? Should we donate to STEM related organizations? All of this, we want our members to be involved. It is not the officers' money. It is the members' money. We want to make sure that these funds that we have earned through our member participation is going to where the members would like us to, send that money to. As I mentioned, we reached platinum, which meant we had over 130 points between all of our activities. And some of the things that we do and some of the things that we'll be planning for next year is, of course, we get points for our members attending our chapter meetings like tonight. We're also going to be planning some more chapter projects and possibly some more virtual field trips for next year. So if any of our members have any sort of ideas or want to host a virtual field trip presentation, just let us know. Check out our Facebook page or shoot us an email. If either Dania or Sarai, if you guys wouldn't mind posting in our email, that would be fantastic. We also do various community service activities and events. We're going to be doing another Thanking Those Who Serve campaign. We just had one for September 11th. We did one here. Why aren't you going there? We will always be posting information about virtual career fairs. We are part of the virtual organization fair, where you can kind of learn more about the different organizations. And we actually have the virtual organizations fair is actually coming up on November 10th. So even if you're a member of this organization, or maybe somebody who's interested in finding out more about this organization, head on over to the website, the APUS website. I don't have it available, but I was put into one of our newsletters, and I will have it posted again on our Facebook. That way you guys can find out more about all the various organizations here at APUS. So some other things, like I said, we're really involved with our members. Anytime that you guys have either a personal, professional, or academic achievement, let us know. We want to brag on you guys. We really do, because we know how hard it has been, especially with the pandemic and the lockdown and everything else, just trying to have a normal life again. Thank you, Dania. if you're, doing any sort of volunteering activities, let us know. That's important too. You're taking time out of your daily life to help others when you're not getting paid for it. You're just doing it out of the graciousness of your heart. For all of us, as Dana was talking about, one of the things that we did this year, and hopefully we will continue next year, is the science talks with the 5th grade class. So we're not saying that you have to be a doctor or complete expert in a topic, but if you have a topic that you're passionate about and you're knowledgeable about, let us know. Maybe you can be one of the presenters for them. And we're always gonna, shout out people who are graduating, or if you made the dean's list or the president's list. We are extremely proud of our members. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our members. So yeah, like I said, that's our email. I know Dania put it in the chat. So here are some of our social media sites. So we do have Twitter, Instagram, and we have 2 Facebook pages. So definitely look us up, find us. We are always posting our information, upcoming meetings and things like that to let you know, everything that's going on. We post relevant news articles, anything that we find interesting that we hope that you guys would find relevant and interesting as well will be posted on those sites. Okay, so just kind of going over just some of the things that we have going on to finish out the year. The first thing we have is currently we are doing a grant contest for our members. And what this is like, we understand that being a student is hard. A lot of us are juggling work, home life, and school. And sometimes we really have to decide whether or not we need to buy that science equipment for our lab or buy enough peanut butter to make, a week's worth of peanut butter sandwiches. We get it. We understand. And we are here for you. And we want to help you be able to enhance your experience, enhance your career, make sure that you're able to complete these projects or any research that you really want to do that's going to help you professionally, academically, whatever the case may be. So what we're asking, if you fall into this category, send us an email to the WSTEM apus1@gmail.com, telling us about the equipment that you're looking that you need, why you need it. Or if it's even just like, hey, I really want to be a part of this professional organization because I see myself, I know I need to be a part of it because it's going to help my career. Or if there's like a conference you want to go to that'll benefit your career or your academic life, let us know. The only restrictions are it has to be a physical, specific item or membership that we can purchase. We cannot send you a $50 gift card or something like a Visa or Amazon gift card. We can't do that. It has to actually be something that we can physically purchase for you and send to you. There is a $350 max. So depending on the submissions that we get, and what kind of items and the amounts that are requested, we could have multiple awards to break down that $350 if need be. We only have 10 more days for submissions. So if you are interested in, being eligible for this grant, please, 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 please get that email into us by October 24th. And then we will notify the winners on November 1st. Kathy, our membership fee is free. There is no membership fee for WSTEM or the general AWIS. But to be a part of the National AWIS Association, it is a $35 fee. They reduced it this year. It used to be $60, but now it's a $35 fee to be a part of the National AWIS Association for students. So another thing, as we are nearing the end of the year, that means us leaders for 2021 are going to be saying goodbye, or we might be shifting up positions for next year, depending on what we're doing. So we definitely want to find out if there's anybody who wants to get involved and if you're interested in being a part of the leadership team for 2022. Like we always say, find us on Facebook or let us know by emailing us. Elections will take place near the end of November. So we're starting to gather nominations and figure out who wants to do what are they interested in, letting everybody know about the different positions and opportunities that we have in as far as the leadership roles go. And there will be more information posted on Facebook and breaking down the different roles up this weekend on Facebook is what I plan to post it. So another thing that we have is going to be, we are participating in the Wreaths Across America as a volunteer project. So as an organization, we have sponsored 10 wreaths to support Wreaths Across America, but we are also asking that our members, if they are available, to register at the Wreaths Across America website to volunteer at a local cemetery, placing wreaths on December 18th. You know, and the other thing that we're going to do with this to try to help people network, because obviously I know it's an online school. We're not all next door to each other. But on Facebook, I'm on kind of started posting where people can say, hey, I'll be at such and such location for the Wreaths Across America. And that way, if other people are nearby, they can be like, hey, okay, I'll sign up for that one too. And that way everyone can kind of network and grow. And hopefully we can kind of get more people together. So that way it's not just, you know, this virtual interaction, but you guys could actually have some real physical social interaction for once in like 2 years. But of course, you know, we always say, hey, because, you know, let us know if you do participate in this. We want to see pictures. We want to hear your stories. What did you learn by doing this? Things like that. And that's that. Woo!
Ashley, did you, and then just a reminder, everyone, if you haven't already done so, if you could send us a private message or send us an email with your address, please.
Yeah, so we just, as a thank you for joining us tonight, I know it was a little longer tonight than usual, but to kind of celebrate your involvement, we would love to send all of our guests some WSEM swag. So please send us an email with your name, your shipping address, and let us know if you're a current member of either, you know, WSTEM or AOS, or if you're interested in joining. That way we can send you some more information and things like that as well. But yeah, definitely shoot us that email tonight. That way we have it. Does anybody have any questions for the evening?
Nice work, you guys. This is really.
I had a question. I just
So
wrote it because you were talking. So.
It's okay. Yeah. So as far as the virtual field trips as an online group go, a lot of locations are actually offering them now, where in collaboration with somebody who, like at the zoo or like at the aquarium or a museum, they will actually have somebody who works there kind of lead us through, and they'll kind of talk as if we're actually there without physically being there. So they'll take us through the exhibits and say, okay, this, and this, and then they'll walk us through the next exhibit. Or they might have like a pre-recorded trip of
So how do you hook up with something like that?
You will be surprised. A lot of, like, if you just kind of go on the museums, you can actually find so many of them since the pandemic have started offering these virtual tours, you know, to various groups. So a lot of times it's just a matter of just figuring out what kind of field trip we want to do per se, and then just reaching out to them and seeing if we can make it possible. Again, it's all about networking. That's our goal, is networking.
Okay. That's interesting. I was wondering how to go about doing something like that.
Yep. Or we can just, you know, take our phones and our GoPros, and next time I go scuba diving with sharks, I'll just record and drag you guys along with me.
Actually, aren't you supposed to already do that for us?
So if you are interested in or require more information, feel free to email us and we can do some research on our end, just in case you have a specific location in mind, or we can.
I was just wondering if that was live.
Yeah, they're usually live. It does vary on the location itself, though.
You don't do a recording and then present it to the group. You can't do it like that. You actually have to.
We have it varies.
Yes,
like I said,
multimedia.
yeah, it just kind of depends on what, you know, what's going on. and what the organization wants at that time.
Well, then aren't there things like virtual tours, like interactive type things somewhere online that everybody could pile in and
Yeah.
work on something together or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just wondering.
Yeah,
Since I don't know.
there are so many options now, and definitely like you know, we're saying if there's things that interest you that you would like to see as an organization be presented, or topics that you guys would like to see being presented, let us know, because once we know what you guys want, we'll be able to kind of figure out where to go from there and how to make that possible. But obviously otherwise we're just kind of grabbing from all the different realms of STEM and just kind of hoping we're going to have a great turnout for it, and that we're hitting on the interest of our members.
The interaction is really important, but
Absolutely.
yeah, I was just like, how to do this, you know, on the field trips.
Yeah, no, it's fun. You know, as Lori had mentioned, one of the past officers, she did a live tour of her local aquarium. I'm going to be doing that too. I just haven't been able to. I thought they were going to, when I did one of my shark dives, I thought I was going to be able to bring my equipment with me to do the recording and stuff. So at least I could show a video of it, but they wouldn't allow me to bring the GoPro down. So that kind of ruined that option. But yeah, we're definitely going to be doing some stuff.
That was a great presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really good work.
Now, for the national organization, are you referring to AWIS itself?
I think, I don't know, you talk kind of fast, so, and I'm kind of tired. I think that's who you said.
Yeah.
I wrote it down, so I think that's what I wrote.
Yeah, the national. Let me see. Let me pull it up real quick. Let me double check.
I could probably, I guess, look that up. You know, Google is my friend, as my son likes to remind me when I ask.
Yeah. So for the national organization, I included whoops, no, I didn't. Just kidding. That just went to Dania.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. She got it on there. Thank you, Alexander.
Avis.org.
Yeah,
was simple. That was easy.
Other than that, do we have any more questions for the evening?
Don't ask me. I will ask you back.
Go for it. That's what we're here for. We're here for all of that. But like I said, you know, definitely, you know, join our Facebook. We have so much information on there. Check out our website. Email us, you know, follow us on any sort of social media. We are a very interactive group. We love, you know, getting to meet all our members. And, you know, we're just very excited for you guys to be here tonight. And, you know, we do hope that yes, ma'am.
So AWIS has a Facebook of its own.
Yes. The both of our Facebook pages for both of the organizations are actually it's a private group, so you just have to join it.
Well, I did join one.
Okay, see,
that's how I got here.
Yeah, so both of them do. So there's a separate one. There you go. Lori added the link for the
Getting
AWIS
really
group.
dark in my room here all of a sudden. The sun is going down. I don't know where everybody is. The majority of you, are you on the East Coast? Or Southern California?
Georgia. I think a lot of us are.
Yeah,
it seems to be we're all pretty much all
Maryland.
Okay. Yeah, Maryland's a busy bunch over there. I know that.
Yeah, I know Lori's from Maryland. Sarai is Iowa. I know Dr. Hand is Florida. Dr. Drexler is New Mexico. So yeah, we're kind of scattered all around.
I'm Southern New Mexico.
It's almost 8:30. Look at that. It's so late.
Right.
Whoa. Okay, just to solve it, I'm gonna go fill out a form, but not this minute. I've had a long day online, and
absolutely.
I am gonna fill out the form. I saw it on your feed on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, definitely send us an email, with the information, your name, your address, whether or not you're a member already of either of the organizations or if you're interested in becoming a member. That way we can just make sure that everybody gets, a little gift for coming on tonight and spending the
Oh.
time with us.
Okay, you have to send an email?
Yeah, just send us an email. Well, otherwise I don't know exactly where you live. I can't just send a box to you in New Mexico.
So what is the email address? Do I have it? I don't even know.
It is in our chat. I'll put it in there again for you.
You probably did, and I didn't.
It is wstemapus1@gmail.com.
Okay. WSTEM at APUS
wstemapus1@gmail.com.
1. Okay. I am so tired today, but thanks. Okay.
You are welcome. Well, like I said, we really appreciate everyone coming on tonight. And we do hope that we will see you guys at some future meetings. And be on the lookout for our newsletters and things like that. Once you guys become members, we send those out monthly and it has a lot of good information and stuff in them. Okay.
And bring a friend next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring a friend.
I am a friend. I'm the friend. I'll be all your friends. Okay.
Sounds great.
I will do that. I tried to drag my husband in on it, but he left. He's